Hello, everyone out there, the neuro seekers. I know you're so excited to get back, especially given how heavy our last subject was, talking about all the neurotoxins and the toxins that our bodies are bombarded with. So I'm super excited today. We've got a lighter topic. We're going to take everything into our control, and we are going to take our brain to the next level. I mean, why are we doing this? We're doing this, as I said, because I've seen the issues that children have in my school and parents and myself. And the easiest way to deal with a photographic memory and to blast those neurons is through detoxing our brains with an S. So the plural being our brain, our heart, and our gut. And we are going to include the mind, which in itself is the spirit and the soul, because all four of those connect to the type of life we lead. We want to lead a life where we are free to learn as much as we possibly can without any blockages. And this is the way to go forward. So, you know, I'm such a neuro geek. I just have to tell you this one fact, and I think this in itself will blow your mind. So you hear me speak about the neurons and the synapses. Neuron is another word for a nerve cell, but the nerve cells in our brains are the neurons that have dendrites, and then those dendrites are like roots that go out, and then they connect to another neuron through a synapse. Now, just one neuron can have about 7 to 10,000 synapses. Okay, that, if you don't think that's bad enough, an adult brain has 100 billion neurons. So 10,000 times 100 billion, I had to look that up. It's 1 quadrillion. So you are having 1 quadrillion firings going on in your brain. Now, imagine if those brains are blocked by the neurotoxins. I'm not going to go into it. That is what is causing the problems, okay? And long-term effects of that are Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. But we're not even going there. We're building our photographic memory, and we're getting our brain squeaky clean to just absorb like a sponge. Okay, so in this episode, we're going to talk about the general detoxing that you can do for your brains. In future videos, we're going to specifically talk either about the neurological brain, the heart brain, the gut brain, and the mind slash soul slash spirit brain. Okay, so I try to develop it into sequential orders, like we've touched on, you know, diet, sleep, external factors, exercise, water, but there are some that don't fit into that. So what I wanted to do was just talk a bit about all of that. I've often told you I'm a holistic person in my approach to education, the photographic memory, homesteading, you name it. So this will make a lot of sense to those kind of people, the tree-hugging hippies, as I call myself. Vitamin D is the first one. We need to expose ourselves to vitamin D. Obviously, if you're not like me, living in California, it is not that easy during the winter months, and then you can get yourself a good vitamin D supplement. But then, you know, over the age of 30, you need to add a orange essence or something to it so that you can absorb that. Then if children is not an issue, right? And I know I should be speaking mainly to the children, but this is the beautiful journey that we're going on, that we're doing this together with them. Then earthing is another one. The society we live in today is really hard to just get barefoot. I know with my children, they insist on wearing socks outside. So just getting barefoot and grounding. And the second thing is the circadian rhythms, to get into that. And we'll speak about it in the diet, but it's also to eat according to your season. The other one that, you know, I'm passionate about is limiting your exposure to radiation. And I've got a lot of short clips on my Instagram or TikToks. You can look at that all up. Then just natural processes for detoxing. I want to say disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, But everything we're doing here is so natural that this is fine for your children. There's nothing here that is working against your circulatory system, your digestive system, your neurological system. It is all working cohesively and holistically together. So nothing to worry about. The detox practice that I was going to talk about is actually the Epsom salt bath. Now, you don't only have to use Epsom salts. There's some beautiful detox recipes out there. If you belong to my private Facebook group, we've got one on there and we can repost it. Just get onto that and we'll post it for you. And you can put in things like Epsom salts, borax, then there's the magnesium flakes, which are the same as the Epsom salts, and a few others, you know, your lavender oils and things like that, which actually leads us to the next thing is oils. A lot of people don't think about oils. In my classroom, we have a humidifier going with the specific brain oils that are good for you. Cedar pine is a good essential oil, and obviously lavender to relax, and there's bergamot, and again, so many variations of oils for various structures you want to boost. And so again, you can go into lots of detail with that. And then the final thing is breathing. This is really important, and for your children it'll be an awesome tool to use, because when you have your sympathetic nervous system take over, the best way to calm it down and bring in the parasympathetic is through slow and relaxed breathing. Believe it or not, it also strengthens the brain-heart-gut connection, and this all then helps in terms of detox. At my school, what we do is neurologically the brain can absorb for 20 minutes, and so we pump them full of information, and then 15 minutes of crucial exercise where there's left brain, right brain cross patterning going on, so that they are so out of breath. The oxygen needs to be inhaled to pump to the brain, and then boom, we hit the work all over again, because now their brains are ready to accept that. Okay, so those are the general ways we can detox the forebrains. And now I just want to go into different headings. So sleep is one of them. I've mentioned that before. My online course, we spend almost a day going through all the different ways to hack your environment, your internal environment for the circadian rhythms, and the external environment in terms of what the room should look like, and what the nap schedule should look like, and what the sleeping schedule should look like. And I do have a prerequisite at my school that my students need to have at least 8 hours of sleep, doesn't matter their age, because the children are getting less and less sleep. And obviously that doesn't help me trying to teach their brains. Okay, now the next thing we can do is we can look at our diet. Diet is so important. Again, another prerequisite I have in my school is no sugar, because that can just, it's as good as dopamine for the brain. And so we can't have that. In fact, what we're wanting to do with the children is give them a love for food. I have said that I'm a homesteader, and it has been proven. You can look at any of the journals of pediatrics. When the children are growing their own vegetables, there is a love for them eating those vegetables. And the fun thing is when you're doing colors, various colors, that is enticing to them. And there's so many sites out there with, you know, crunchy mamas and what have you, that, you know, do celery with raisins and peanut butter and make those look like caterpillars. And so lots of fun things you can do to make the food enticing. But why are we doing this? We're doing it so that there is a detoxification that is going through, particularly when we're talking about fiber, that is feeding your gut brain. And so that is helping eliminate the toxins through the fiber. Obviously, when you're taking in the colors of the rainbow, it's super high in antioxidants. So that in itself, you know, berries, fruits, nuts, those all neutralize the free radicals. And that in turn supports the liver function. It's actually been proven that it can kill any kind of liver disease. And we're not, like I said, we're not even talking about the negatives. But if those antioxidants can heal a diseased liver, how much better will it do for your body in terms of liver function for elimination? for detoxing. Okay, and I don't want to go into the typical American diet, because by this stage, you're not the people that are feeding your children mac and cheese and pizza all day. So we know now how to neutralize the free radicals. We know how to boost antioxidants. And the other reason why we're consuming these foods is for the vitamin intake. Vitamin C, you heard me talk about what ascorbic acid really is and how it's grown in the laboratory. And I, coming from Africa, am a strong believer in moringa, but there are lots of other, there's alma, there's black seed oil, all the seeds are also, especially if you sprout them, are high in not only antioxidants, but then once you sprout them, it all helps in terms of protein. But another thing that the US soil is really, totally free of is copper. Unfortunately, most people are anemic, and they don't realize that the anemia is not related to the iron, but to the copper deficiency. So I've mentioned that before. Our family drink out of those copper mugs, and you can get them as water bottles as well. Manganese is another one that citrus fruits are high in, your leafy greens. And organ meats, very important for the iron. They all help the detoxification process. Now, one thing that people don't talk about are mushrooms. And in our Facebook group, we were talking about how to give up coffee. And the mushrooms are just a perfect segue into giving you brain focus. So just hop on that chat. There's so much detail there about which mushrooms do what function, but that is definitely something for you to look into. One thing I did want to say is just the way your fingerprint is different, so is your brain. So I'm giving you this broad general overview of what is detoxing your body. If you're like me, you make a checklist and you make sure that you've done every single one. However, if you feel like this is too much information, please don't feel like you have to do every single one. Your brain will tell you, your body will tell you, especially because this is all for the 4 brains. Sorry, you can hear my dog in the background there. Oh, by the way, if you have pets, they love the mushrooms. So that's a really good function for them too, for detoxification. Okay, now another superhuman hack for total detox of your body is a subject that no one really speaks about: probiotics. Probiotics help everything, and most importantly, your gut brain, which then speaks so much to your brain. They say that communication, because I've spoken about it in my other videos, both your heart, your brain, and your gut have neurons. However, even though your brain has the most neurons, 100 billion neurons, most of the communication going up the vagus nerve is coming from your gut. So that's why the gut is so important for your detoxification. And don't want to go too much into that, but we must think about that for toxin removal. It's a beautiful hack that no one really talks much about. Another hack that I live on, and ladies, if that's you, looking to look younger, this is a great one. This is tea. Beverages is tea. I love the rooibos tea, rooibos. Once boiled for over 30 minutes, it has 100 times more antioxidants than green tea. And I drink that more than I drink green tea. So I can have 5-6 cups of that a day. It obviously reduces any kind of free radicals and helps with everything from, like I said, from your skin to detoxing, wherever your body needs to be detoxing. The next thing then is hydration, really important. We spoke about where you get your water. We've spoken about the different types, from reverse osmosis to mineralized to electrolytes. And again, that is your research, or find my clips on my various social media for you to decide which ones are better. But of course, hydration helps with the lymphatic system drainage. It helps give you energy. It helps with circulation. And then the byproduct is literally the byproduct, which is ridding the body of waste products. And that is done through your kidneys to flush out the toxins. Okay. final one on the general is exercise. We know how important exercise is, and most of you with little ones don't have to worry about that because you're running around with them at the park and are exhausted at the end of the day. But again, we want to get the kids running, not only to get the oxygen to the brain for neuro circulation, but we also want the skin pores opening so the sweat can come out and they can detoxify through the sweat. And then the lymphatic activity, which also helps the waste disposal in the brain. So a lot of, improvement of circulation, elimination through various, as we said, through the skin and through waste product. Okay, that was a mouthful. The last one I wanted to speak about was oxygenation. If you're not aware of it, no disease can live in an alkaline body. Now, oxygenation is, you've probably heard it with ozone. What's really popular are the ozone facials. And you can get yourself an ozone machine and you can pass the ozone through the water. So you're oxygenating the water, or you can directly ozonate a scar area, a tissue area, and any type of oxygen, obviously you can't intake it, but on the outside will help you to alkalize your body. And really, this is just another definition of how to detox by alkalizing your body. And then just had to touch on it. I'm so sorry, you can hear by the deep sigh. What not to do, and that is to avoid the substances that are harmful to yourself and your children, particularly the chemicals in your household. You can just look into real basic things like what they put on your sofa, or how they put flame retardant on your pajamas for children. The only way to get around that is to ensure that you are buying organic clothes, and I even then would call whichever company I was going to use to make sure of that. The other biggie is personal care products, and I know it's hard, especially if you've got girls. I mean, even my boys, they loved bubble bath, but there's the closest you'd come to that is probably like the sodium bicarbonate bath bomb. You can do alternatives so that it doesn't have to be boring for them. And then of course, for the children, drugs, we try and avoid that as much as possible because of all of the side effects, and it can obviously increase the toxic load for the body. So that's enough about the negatives. I hope this has helped you in terms of what you can do now, because we had been speaking about so many negatives. Now you can do all the positives to not only detox, but just to enjoy your lives. I mean, the most important thing here is to have a brain that can help you function normally. And that's the bare minimum. Once we get rid of all these blockages, then we're going to boost your brain, and we're going to be able to feed it so much information that we're going to take these children and just grow them to the best potential that they can be. So I just want to say thanks again for being here with me. I am so excited to hear from you. Feel free to drop comments in the chat below, or likes or shares or whatever you want. And yeah, if you have questions, I'm always happy to do that. I do one-on-one coaching and group coaching. So just feel free to go to buildyourbrain.org and I can hold your hand over there. So enjoy the information, neurohackers, and I'll see you in the next video.